Welcome. Welcome to your Thriving Heart for Thriving Life Grief Tips. Do you or your loved ones recently experience more physical fatigue or perhaps stomach problem or difficulty sleeping or perhaps becoming more forgetful or more confused or perhaps feeling more sadness or overwhelm, irritability or anxiety? If you do, then it is possible if these feelings happen after you experience some changes or loss in your life. It's possible that this come from grief fatigue. And what is grief fatigue? Grief fatigue is when you have basically one after another cause of grief, you experience one after another cause of grief that really start to wear you down. When you hear, keeping in mind that there are more than 40 different causes of grief, that the true definitions of grief is the unsettled feelings caused by a change, a loss, or unmet hope. And grief is known to be cumulative and cumulatively impairing. In other words, if you experience a cause of grief, and this could be personal, this could be something in your community, this could also be something global. Perhaps you hear news about certain things, you watch certain natural disasters or some things that's going on out there, and you experience any of these, and it's you experience a cause of grief and you have not been able to recover from it completely, you hear something else and something else, something else. We know nowadays that grief is cumulative and cumulatively impairing. And while the process is going on, it is very common for us to start to feel grief fatigue, where we feel that we really feel like we feel worn down. We feel just emotionally exhausted. You just done with everything that's going on. And what can you do? What can you do if you or a loved one experience grief fatigue? Firstly, my heart goes out to you if you experience grief fatigue. Many people now more recently come to me and says, "Oh my gosh, this," and I'm just done. I'm hearing this and I'm hearing that and I'm hearing this and I'm hearing that, and then I feel more and more depressed. Is it normal for me to be this way or something wrong? So the first thing is to know that it is normal. It's very normal for you to feel the more and more weights, and then to start to feel depressed and upset on your own, even when you're not listening to things. It is normal for you to being weighed down by everything that you hear. And it is not that because you are weak, it is not that because you're not resilient, but it is because you care, and you care enough that it weighs you down. So firstly, know that it is normal for you to feel this way. And then secondly, if a lot of the things that you hear or watch is weighing you down, something that you might want to do, and I share with this tip with many of my clients, is to limit your intake. To limit your intakes, because sometimes we hear this and we see that and we watch that and we read that, and then many people says, "Oh gosh, it just become a bit too much." And sometimes it's actually we're hearing about the same topic, perhaps the same incidents over and over and over again. Now, I'm not saying to shut down your world completely. I'm not saying not keeping up to date with important informations, particularly in your personal life and in your community. But sometimes what happens is we hear about, let's say, an incident that happened and we hear it from this, and then we hear it from that, and then it's in the news, and then it's in the radio, it's in the TV, and it's in the social media, and again and again. And each time you are exposed to this, even though it is the same incidents, each time you engage with this, it's actually caused your nervous, it's affected your nervous system more and more and more. Each time you hear this, it put you more into the fight or flight state and not able to relax even more. And each time it happened, and it's happened. And very soon, it's nowadays we know that grief affected our physical health as well. Very soon you start potentially start having stomach discomfort or something like that from the accumulations. We know grief causes inflammations as well as changes in our brain, in our hormones, and hearing one after another things. So you might want to consider limit your intake, limit your exposures to social media to 15 minutes a day, and limit watch yourself on watching news to one news outlet and for once a day is an example. Another way to navigate grief fatigue is to allow yourself some self-care. If you are emotionally exhausted and then you also physically exhausted because you don't get enough rest, then it will turn into a vicious cycle. And if we know that even when during the good days, so to say, if you are not able to sleep well, perhaps there is some noise uh, in that particular evening or something like that, and you couldn't sleep well, the next day you don't feel so good. So allow yourself extra time for rest and take care of yourself. Allow yourself extra grace in everything that you do, and also allow yourself a permissions to feel and release. And you might say, huh, I already feel bad. Why do I want to feel it more? But with grief as well as with a lot of strong emotions, many other strong emotions, you want to feel them and then do something to release them. Don't just feel it. And then sometimes some people do recommend to feel it and then to sit in it, and yes, while that there is a benefit to feeling it, you do want to be able to release that if you want to keep going, and releasing your feelings different from for everybody. It could be journaling, it could be crying. And we know nowadays when we're not feeling good and we cried, it's healthy. The emotional tears carries a lot of substance in it that help us feel better and help us heal. And it could also be going for a walk and stomp away your feet safely, and and knowing that your emotions are valid. It could also be reaching out to a support group that can help you to feel better. And I want to mention here really quick, there is there is a difference between support group that can help you feel better and then misery camaraderie, so to say, or buddy in misery, friends in misery. There is a difference in that. Sometimes I have people come to me and say, well, you know, I've been having group, and yeah, while it's helpful and it is in general helpful to have camaraderie, to know that you are not alone and you are not alone. Sometimes people whom you speak with, the group you are in, they start sharing their everybody sharing their own misery and their perceptions of things on that make them miserable. And by the end of the conversations of the hour or even 30 minutes speaking with a friend or a colleague, or a neighbor or somebody, you feel even more hopelessness. You feel as if, oh gosh, everything is just going so bad in this world, or everything is going so bad in everybody's life, and that's not what you would want. You would want somebody to reach out to someone who is able to relate to you, and perhaps had a similar experience to you, and at the same times it is not mm, uh, uh, um, misery in company. You don't want to be hearing so much of others' misery that you get dragged down even more. But allow yourself support, and also it's okay to say no. It's okay to set a healthy boundary in whichever way that is necessary for you, and do that without feeling any guilt. You want to take care of yourself first, because nowadays we know that if you, let's say, want to be there for your friends and your family and your neighbor, but you start feeling dragged down yourself, grief causes secondary physical illnesses, and then it turn into a vicious cycle. And so we don't want that. So it is okay to say to, let's say you have a friend or an acquaintance, a neighbor that's been coming to you and sharing their miseries, then it's okay to say, hey, you know what, I hear you, and I can only imagine how you feel. Why don't you please go get help? Go get help, get some support, get professional help. And you, knowing that you are not their their grief coach or their therapist, and you do not have an obligation to take care of them in that way. Even if this is a family member, it is better for the person anyway, for the persons who are sharing their angst with you, their misery with you, to receive help and know that whether for them or for you, even if they cannot see it, even if you cannot see it at the moment, that there is help, and therefore there is hope. We sometimes we can feel very alone, but you are not alone, and there is help. There are many public resources. You are welcome to always reach out to me at any time, and to receive any support. And also another tip that can help mitigate grief fatigue is to balance the sourness of sorrow with sweetness, so to say. To balance hearing all these things that's really tough, experiencing all these things, and allow yourself moments of more ease. And this could be, for a lot of my clients, I actually ask them to watch comedy. This could just be 15 minutes snippets of comedy a day, a few times a week, or perhaps do something that you enjoy, perhaps listening to music that you like, as long as that music allow you to feel better. Perhaps go for a walk if it is safe to do so. Drawing, paintings. Like we know nowadays, laughter really do help our heart and our body heal. And so balance the sorrow with something that, even if at the very moment you said, I don't know if I enjoy this, if it is something that you used to enjoy, then it is still good to do, because you might not find it enjoyable at this moment if you are going through a lot of things, but it's a lot of times still beneficial for you. And then find some things that might be beneficial for you. Some people join something called laughter yoga, where you actually, it's kind of like an exercise, and if you really do it, it's actually a very good abs exercise for your abdominal. Do laughing and laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh and laughing for half an hour. It's a very good exercise, actually. And so balance the sorrow the sourness of sorrow with something sweet, so to say, and not necessarily physical sweet, but something that is sweet to your heart. And as always, connect and reach out to help that can benefit you. If you have any questions or any concerns, feel welcome to connect with me directly. You may email me directly at my email here, drtanforgrief@gmail.com. Reach me at my website as well, joyfulrichesbeyondgrief.com. And you may also, of course, leave your thoughts and questions in the comment. Feel welcome to share this video with anyone that you would like, as well as to subscribe to the channel and to like this video if you find any part of this video useful, so you can continue to receive more tips in the future. And this is Dr. BirgitteTan with Joyful Riches Beyond Grief. I care about you very much, and I look forward to see you again soon.